Welcome to the debate. Assessment organizations, well, are facing a real crossroads right now. Should they dive headfirst into fully digital delivery, or does the need for things like resilience, test validity, and just sheer compliance mean sticking with paper or maybe some kind of hybrid model? The big question is really, is it time for an immediate digital push, or do the risks demand a more cautious evidence-first path? I'll be arguing that yes, rapid digital adoption isn't just desirable, it's essential, especially for security and accessibility today.
And I'm taking a rather different stance here. Look, the allure of digital is undeniable. I get that. But these decisions about test format, they absolutely cannot be driven just by enthusiasm for new tech. They have to be grounded in solid evidence, rigorous testing, psychometrics, and a very clear-eyed look at the risks. Our fundamental duty, I believe, is to ensure the tests are valid and fair and that candidate rights are protected. Just rushing in without proper validation, that introduces risks I think are frankly unacceptable.
But we have to move fast. The AI threat isn't some future problem, it's here, right now. I saw a statistic, something like 88% of learners admitting they use AI to help with exam prep. Paper? Paper offers precisely zero defense against that. It's just security theater at this point. Only digital platforms let us build in real protections, things like keystroke analysis, locking down browsers, maybe even sophisticated AI detection. And beyond security, let's be honest, paper can be actively discriminatory. Digital offers accessibility features, screen readers, adjustable colors, adaptive interfaces that paper just can't match. It's about genuine inclusion.
Okay, you're focused on these, let's call them external threats like AI, but I worry we're creating internal threats to the integrity of the assessment itself if we rush this. We risk introducing what experts call construct-irrelevant variance. Now, what that basically means for anyone listening is that the format of the test paper versus screen accidentally starts measuring something other than the skill we want to measure. Imagine, say, trying to assess a carpenter's skill purely by how fast they can type a report about woodworking. The format gets in the way of the actual skill. And then there are the really serious GDPR and privacy issues, especially with online proctoring, collecting biometric data. These automated AI detection tools you mentioned, they need proven reliability. What are the false positive rates before we deploy them in high-stakes situations? We could end up wrongly accusing candidates, which is a huge fairness issue.
Okay. Regulations and data privacy are significant hurdles, I grant you that. But let's talk logistics for a moment. Beyond the headaches of GDPR compliance, there's a massive operational and I'd say moral cost to just maintaining the status quo. Think about it. We're running these huge operations, printing, shipping, securely storing millions and millions of paper documents every year. The sheer logistical effort, the environmental impact, it feels completely unsustainable compared to the long-term efficiency and potential of digital delivery.
That's certainly one way to frame it, but operational feasibility has to be the bedrock of any reliable assessment system. And digital systems, frankly, they increase certain kinds of risk, precisely because they rely on complex infrastructure. Server failures, internet connectivity problems, the need for way more specialized technical support staff. These are very real constraints. And on the environmental point, it's not quite so simple. We really need a full life cycle analysis. Did you know that something like 80% of a laptop's carbon footprint comes from its initial manufacturing? We might be trading paper waste for a very serious and growing e-waste problem. So the green argument for digital isn't always as clear-cut as it seems.
But digital platforms aren't just about security or saving trees. They open up possibilities for interactivity, for using rich media. They let us move assessment into the 21st century. It's an opportunity, maybe even a nudge, to rethink some assessment models that are frankly quite outdated.
I'm sorry, I just don't think that applies universally. The format absolutely must match the subject matter if we want to maintain measurement integrity. Paper for certain subjects is uniquely suitable. Think about advanced mathematics or physics, subjects requiring complex diagrams. Showing you're working, quickly sketching out ideas. On-screen maths tools, there's still a pretty significant barrier for many people. We can't just force every subject onto a screen if it compromises the validity of what we're actually trying to measure. Maybe multimodal solutions, using both paper and digital where appropriate,
are actually the most sensible path forward for certain disciplines.
Oh, look, I absolutely acknowledge the complexities, the need to manage risks, and yes, subject suitability matters. But I still maintain that full digital transformation has to be the goal. It's the only realistic path forward for better security, genuine inclusion on a large scale, and the kind of scalability we need. Continuously propping up these dual, hybrid systems, it just feels like a costly diversion of resources in the long run.
And I would conclude that decisions about format absolutely must be driven by comprehensive risk assessments, by proper validation studies that actually compare candidate performance across different modes, and by strict adherence to regulatory compliance, like GDPR. We have to ensure that whatever method we choose, it protects the integrity of the assessment and the fundamental rights of the candidates. It needs to be about the evidence, not about ideological momentum pushing us one way or the other. There's clearly a lot more to unpack here to find the right balance,